Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Alex and today I wanted to talk to you guys about the new fertility innovations for low ovarian reserve. So if you guys are new here, I was diagnosed with POI/DOR about 3.5 years ago and have been managing my condition since then and trying to heal myself with natural and integrative methods. I've also been going on a fertility journey, so I have been through fertility treatments and I have actually had one of these treatments performed on me. So I gathered together some of the most cutting edge treatments that are available for women with low ovarian reserve and I want to discuss them with you today. So if you have been diagnosed with low ovarian reserve, then I want you to know that there are options out there for you. It's not the end of the world, and you may have been told by a doctor that they won't work with you because of your low ovarian reserve. There are doctors out there who will work with women with low ovarian reserve, and there are treatments available to you. So the first treatment is also one that I have done myself. It's called adipose PRP and also ovarian PRP. Ovarian PRP is just when they use platelet-rich plasma. So basically they draw your blood, they put it in a centrifuge, which separates the platelet-rich plasma from the red blood cells, and they extract the platelet-rich plasma and then they inject that into your ovaries. Now that has been shown to reactivate dormant follicles and just to increase hormone levels, but it only lasts for about 3 months. They've started to do something called adipose PRP, and this is where they take adipose tissue, so fat from somewhere in your body. It's usually the lower abdomen. They extract the stem cells from your fat and then they mix that with the PRP and then they inject that into your ovaries. So that is the treatment that I had done, and it works for about, I was told, 40 to 60% of women. It's still in very early stages. It's still being studied, but it has taken women out of menopause. It has increased follicle count for some women, and it has also helped a lot with hormone levels. Drinking my tea. So for me, I did not have like a massive reaction to this treatment. I think that it probably, what it did most of all was improve the microenvironment of my ovaries. So we know now that the ovaries are a complex ecosystem and they're wired to our nervous system. So they're not just like a vault that holds eggs, and they have some regenerative potential. And so the ovaries are much more complex than what we previously thought. So I think that's what happened probably for me with the treatment, was that it improved the microenvironment. It did also exacerbate an issue that I had where I would sometimes recruit early. So I was recruiting and producing a dominant follicle really early in my cycle. So we tried to do fertility treatments, but it was a little bit challenging. We had to cancel a couple of cycles because I was ovulating so early, but we did end up being able to do a round. It was unfortunately unsuccessful, but that was not because of the treatment or because of my egg quality. It was for some other reason. And my hormone levels were really good, especially my estrogen. It did not improve my progesterone levels, I don't believe, but it did improve my estrogen levels, maybe marginally, but I also just don't know that my body wouldn't have produced those estrogen levels to begin with. So it's kind of difficult to say. It was not a massive change for me. There was something happening, but it was not huge. So I didn't have like a massive increase in antral follicle count. So that's the number of follicles that you have developing in a cycle. I had the situation where I was going to get monitoring done because my fertility clinic is in a different state. I had to get monitoring done through my insurance at a place that did not have technology to be able to see how many follicles I had developing. They could only see the dominant one, unfortunately. And so by the time I did another fertility treatment, we did see that I had 3 developing at once, which is not a lot. Again, I don't know if my body wouldn't have just produced 3 on its own. The 2 other times that I have seen how many follicles I have was when I was first diagnosed and I had about 5 on both ovaries. So I had about 5 developing. And then another time I had 2 when I did another fertility treatment here in California. So it was not a massive increase in antral follicle count, basically what I'm saying. But again, it has, for other women, taken them out of menopause, and for others it has worked to increase antral follicle count, and for other women it has worked for their hormone levels as well. And so that is adipose PRP. Let's move on to the next treatment. So the next treatment is very similar to the first one. It's another form of ovarian rejuvenation, but it's with donor stem cells or donor exosomes. So my fertility clinic actually offers this in the Bahamas, or there are quite a few clinics in Europe that offer this, and Turkey, I believe, as well. Turkey, Albania, and other places. I believe Greece as well. I will try to find some clinics that offer this treatment and I will link them in the description description below. So why this treatment? Stem cells, it's usually mesenchymal stem cells, are studied because of their regenerative signaling capabilities, and they can become new follicles, or they can aid in repairing ovarian tissue, or they help with the microenvironment of the ovaries, and those are kind of some of the ways that they can work. So exosomes are microscopic signaling vesicles released by stem cells that may influence cellular communication and repair. The goal of these therapies is obviously to improve ovarian function and hopefully also improve ovarian reserve and increase follicular activity. Most of these are still really early stage. They're still studying these treatments, and I should let you know that they're not legal yet in the US. We have not improved using donor stem cells or donor exosomes in medicine. So you kind of have to go elsewhere to get these done. So the next treatment that I wanted to talk about is duo-stim IVF. This can work if you are not a poor responder. So if you are able to stimulate your ovaries minimally and get some response from your ovaries. Sometimes some women don't respond to meds, or they're poor responders. Not everyone with low ovarian reserve has that case, but it can be that you are a poor responder. But if you are not, you can do something called duo-stim IVF, which is where they do 2 stimulation cycles in 1 cycle. So they will do once in the follicular phase and once in the luteal phase in order to get as many eggs as possible. And often, sometimes doing like an ovarian rejuvenation, like just a regular PRP or an adipose PRP before, can help even more. But this is not something that everyone should do, and my doctor actually is really against giving women with low ovarian reserve too many meds, so I just want to throw that out there. Some doctors are okay with medicating women and giving them really strong stimulations, other doctors are not. So doctors can use more mild medications like letrozole or Clomid in dual-stim cycles, so that is usually better for women with low ovarian reserve, since the really strong medications can sometimes have a really poor effect on us. We can either sometimes not respond at all, or it can almost temporarily shut down our ovaries completely. Temporarily, sometimes we just do not respond well to those really strong medications. So the next treatment that I wanted to talk to you guys about is kind of a natural progression from the last one, mini-stim IVF cycles or natural IVF cycles. So natural IVF cycles is where your IVF clinic will work with your natural cycle just to get 1 egg from your ovaries. This can work really well in really challenging cases where women produce really few follicles or are really poor responders, have really, really low AMH. Also, it produces a better quality egg because it's the egg that your body has naturally selected to dedicate the most energy to. This can produce quite good outcomes. Of course, your chances of success are a bit low. So again, reiterating that high dose medication, it can be really bad for women who have low ovarian reserve. They're also finding that it can lower egg quality. And then mini-stim, again, is just using Clomid or letrozole. Those are the medications you would generally take in like an IUI situation, but you can also take those with IVF. You can get more than 1 egg, although not as many as with those higher dose medications. Another upside is that it's lower in cost, and the financial emotional burden can be a bit lower as well, although IVF in general is just a really stressful experience. Mini-stim and natural IVF just may be a better fit for certain people. The last treatment that I want to discuss with you guys is really new and experimental, but there was a study done a while ago with a low-level laser therapy device that helped with ovarian function. And so now there are new studies that are inspired by that original one. They're studying, again, the photobiomodulation effects on ovarian function. So essentially using a certain type of laser, I believe it's like a type 4 laser. It's a laser that can penetrate deep enough, like the red light therapy devices on Amazon that you can buy, or like Saluma or those types of things. They're really good for skin, for like not really deep injuries, but they do not penetrate deep enough to be able to get to the ovaries. So you need something stronger, which is, I believe, a type 4 laser to be able to penetrate deeper. So there are certain places that do offer these kinds of lasers. My fertility doctor is actually doing a study on this in New York right now. I will link them in the description below. So this treatment basically aims to influence cellular metabolism and mitochondrial activity through targeted light energy. The research is still really preliminary on this, but I believe the treatment has to be done over 6 weeks, and that is the current length of the study that my fertility doctor is doing. Also, they do a couple of treatments on the ovaries. I believe they move it around, and they might do some over the thyroid. I'm not entirely sure, but I will link my fertility clinic, so if you're interested in learning more about that, you can go ahead and contact them. Okay guys, that's it for today. I hope that some of these treatments excite you and give you some hope. The biggest thing I want you to take away from this video is that fertility medicine is evolving very rapidly, and I'm really excited by the idea that soon POI could potentially be a thing of the past. I'm really excited by where all of this regenerative medicine is moving, and I can't wait to see the steps steps that they make with all of this. Treatment protocols are becoming more individualized, and research continues to expand what's possible, which is so exciting. If you're on this journey too, I really hope that this video gives you a bit of hope and just opens your eyes up to what could potentially be possible for the future. Thank you guys so much for watching. Go ahead and hit subscribe if you haven't subscribed already, and I hope to see you guys in the next one. Thanks so much for watching. Bye guys.